Hello. This will be a discussion of the 12th chapter of Aristotle's Art of Rhetoric. This chapter is concerned with motivation, specifically the motivations of wrongdoers, why people tend to do wrong to others. Aristotle says that the first thing that a wrongdoer thinks about before they commit a crime or an immorality is whether what they are looking to do can be done. They need to think that it's possible. The second thing involves an expected value calculation on behalf of the wrongdoer. They need to think that the likelihood of themselves being caught is low, and in the event that they're caught, the punishment is light in comparison to the possible gains at hand. And there are several circumstances that can either reduce the cost of being found out and reduce the probability of being found out, and we can go over those. If a person possesses eloquence, practical ability or legal experience, or a large amount of resources such as money or connections, then they'll be confident that they'll be able to get away with whatever they seek to do. If the person has an appearance that is unlikely to be involved in the crime that they're looking to commit, for example, if a violent crime has been committed and the individual in question is elderly or physically impaired, then it's less likely that they'll be convicted on the grounds that they're unlikely to have done it. The same is true for crimes that are grotesque, great in proportion, and terrible, in the word of Aristotle. These crimes are so bad that to suspect that someone could have done that is difficult. It's difficult to suspect a grave crime of a child, for example, or of someone of high standing. It's difficult to think that they'll be able to do such a thing. But it's in these cases that the perpetrator will be safe in doing what they're looking to do. So those are some of the ways in which the probability of being found out can be thought to be less in Aristotle's view. The second way is the cost of punishment. This is really to do with cronyism, being cozy with judges, being well liked, being popular, and so forth. Aristotle says some of the other motives may involve a person's situation. People are more likely to commit crimes when they feel they've got nothing to lose. If they're hopeless, for example, they're willing to risk it all. They may be looking to commit crimes because they've got a axe to pick, or they're seeking revenge. They may be looking to commit crime because of something that that individual has done to them in the past. They have a cause. Or they may be committing crime because they're weak-willed individuals and they're succumbing to desire. Typically, these crimes will be things that bring pleasure on the spot and pain later on. People with good reputations may also be tempted to commit crime because they feel that their reputation may protect them. So those are the people that commit crimes and what may lead them to do it. Aristotle then describes the kind of people that are the victims of crimes, and these are sevenfold. The first are vulnerable individuals, and they could be foreigners, for example, who don't have a history in the country or the place they reside in. They may not have resources, they may not have a large network, they may not know the laws at their disposal. The second are people who are weak-willed or have been wronged several times already and didn't do anything about it. The third class of victims are people who have a pretext for being victims. For example, people who are blamed for some wickedness, or are blamed or accused, or have family or ancestors that are accused of doing wrong, and therefore any injury to them is seen as a form of revenge as opposed to a crime. People without a voice, so people that lack eloquence or practical capacity, those are people that are likely to be the victims of crime because they can't defend themselves. They can't do anything to help themselves. Another motive for committing crime is to please people. Aristotle says that people are likely to do wrong, relatively speaking, if it will gain them admiration and respect from the people that they love, the people they admire. And people also like to do wrong if they see it as something that is petty, universal, or forgivable. So petty crimes or commonplace crimes, or things that are wrong because are wrong, but ultimately seen as acceptable because everyone is doing it, are likely to be committed. A final class of crimes that are committed on motives are crimes that bring so much shame upon the victim that they don't feel that they can speak about it or make it known to the public or seek revenge in the public sphere. So these are things that are done to people's spouses, themselves, or their children, and so forth. So much for the motivations for wrongdoing. And that wraps up Aristotle's discussion of just and unjust actions. And then the next chapter will focus on law and what law means. Thank you.